When news arrived to Kenny's family about an unidentified murder victim discovered by the river, his mother and grandmother braced themselves for the worst possible outcome. Kenny had been reported missing, and they were concerned about his whereabouts. When detectives presented them the photos of the victim, their deepest dread became a stark reality. Kenny was unfortunately murdered. The question that lingered among the detectives was, who was behind the murder? This is the heartbreaking case of Kenny Bunn. Kenny Bunn was born on June 14, 1992 in Dalton, Georgia. Growing up in Murray County, Georgia, unlike his peers, he grappled with a sense of belonging and mental health struggles right from his early years. Despite being physically different to the other kids around, he shared the common thread of youthful aspirations they envisioned. Kenny's demeanor, introverted and reserved, set him apart even in his younger days. His grandmother, Pat Colvard, who he fondly called Meow, shared the intimate bond of being Kenny's sanctuary, and at times lived with her off and on throughout his life. In the shadows of his childhood lay the haunting echoes of abuse inflicted by his mother's ex-boyfriend, etching emotional scars on Kenny's tender soul. This turmoil seeded the roots of depression and anxiety that lingered into his adult years. Kenny found solace in the confines of his room, where he wrote dark poetry and sought refuge in the melodies of heavy metal music. Kenny embraced a gothic identity, adopting a style that set him apart from the norms of his conservative Southern community. His transformation involved wearing dark eyeliner, adorning his nails with paint, adding piercings, and dyeing his hair pitch black. However, his unconventional appearance and passions were at odds with the conventional values prevalent in Murray County, further distancing him from his peers. Rachel McNeil, his former girlfriend during his middle school years, highlighted his stark dissimilarity from the local boys. In her recollection, Kenny appeared markedly reserved and diffident in unfamiliar social settings. She attributed his reticence to the repercussions of childhood trauma, which she believed gave rise to Kenny's social unease and self-doubt. Rachel and Kenny's mother, Trenna, shed light on his relentless battle with depression and recurring thoughts of self-harm. Trenna recounted instances where she had to abruptly leave work due to the severity of Kenny's depressive episodes. Despite efforts, Kenny seemed engulfed in the relentless darkness that gripped his mind, unable to break free from its suffocating hold. As Kenny transitioned into adulthood, his persistent battle with depression steered him toward seeking solace in drugs. These substances became the cornerstone of his existence, driving him to isolate himself within his room for extended periods. His interactions dwindled, confined solely to virtual connections with online acquaintances, further estranging him from family and the few friends he had retained. However, by 2019, nearing his late 20s, Kenny had embarked on a journey towards sobriety, signaling a hopeful turn in his life. His grandmother and mother, clinging to optimism, yearned for a brighter future for him, believing that the worst had passed. Yet, unbeknownst to them, disaster loomed ominously on the horizon. In 2018, a glimmer of light shone into Kenny's gloomy world through the arrival of a new relationship. Through the realms of Facebook, he met Nadia Swartz, an unconventional girl adorned in the Gothic culture. A connection swiftly grew between them, fueled by shared interests and perspectives, and Kenny quickly and deeply fell in love with who he thought was the one. Nadia appeared to get him in a way that nobody else did, and for the first time, Kenny felt a genuine sense of being seen and connected to another soul. The relationship surged forward quickly, with the duo professing profound devotion within a mere span of weeks. However, after a few months, Nadia's interest dwindled, her patience wearing thin with Kenny's insecurities and constant need for affirmation. At the start of 2019, despite Kenny's earnest pleas to salvage their relationship, Nadia broke up with him, but still maintained constant communication with Kenny, leading him to cling on to the hope of a potential rekindling of their love affair. Unbeknownst to Kenny, Nadia manipulated this lingering tie, relishing the control over his emotions and using him as a safety net while she explored other romantic avenues. Little did Kenny realize, Nadia had swiftly transitioned into a new relationship mere weeks after their separation. Nadia had met Justin Hooker, a fellow resident of Dalton, who swiftly captured Nadia's affections post her breakup with Kenny. Justin, much like Nadia, was in his early 20s and deeply enamored with the enigmatic girl. Their relationship escalated swiftly, marked by Nadia's fervent avowals of unwavering devotion to Justin. Despite her professed commitment to Justin, Nadia maintained frequent communication with her ex, Kenny. She sought favors and initiated conversations that subtly dangled the prospect of reconnection, all of which Kenny clung to as a lifeline. He held on to the lingering hope of reigniting the flame with the girl he once believed held the key to his salvation. As Nadia continued this clandestine interaction with Kenny behind Justin's back, nurturing Kenny's yearning for their past romance, Justin's feelings of jealousy and animosity towards his girlfriend's ex slowly grew. Kenny had become a perceived threat to Justin's relationship with Nadia. The realization that Nadia remained in such close contact with her former flame pushed Justin beyond his limits, and something sinister started brewing in his mind. Nadia manipulated both Justin and Kenny, sowing seeds of rivalry between the possessive new partner and the infatuated ex-lover. Justin's simmering anger towards Kenny reached a breaking point, escalating into threats against Kenny's life. In early 2020, the simmering tensions among the trio erupted. Reports surfaced of Justin menacingly vowing to end Kenny's life, triggered by Nadia's continued frequent communication with him. Under the guise of seeking reconciliation, Nadia persistently engaged with Kenny, exploiting his lingering feelings and yearning for the acceptance he once found in her company. Kenny, still ensnared in longing for Nadia, willingly complied with her advances. In the days leading up to Kenny's tragic demise, Nadia and Justin devised a chilling plan to eradicate him from their lives once and for all. Nadia cunningly manipulated Kenny into arranging a rendezvous at a secluded spot by the riverside. Simultaneously, Justin acquired a small-caliber revolver from a relative, purportedly for self-defense, yet the true, nefarious intent of the weapon was far more sinister. On the fateful evening of March 16, 2020, Nadia orchestrated the deceptive rendezvous, picking Kenny from a local gas station, and drove him to the agreed-upon meeting point, feigning a desire to rekindle their connection. Allegedly, as Nadia and Kenny arrived at the spot, prosecutors claimed that Justin was either lying in wait or had arrived alongside them. Witnesses reported hearing the jarring echoes of gunshots reverberating around 9:20 p.m. In the obscurity shrouding the riverside, Justin callously discharged 4 rounds from the recently procured firearm, once piercing Kenny's torso and thrice targeting his head. The swift, ruthless execution of the innocent young man unfolded in mere moments. Justin and Nadia then stealthily retreated into the darkness of the night, but prior to their departure, they had rifled through Kenny's possessions, confiscating his cell phone, eradicating any means of identifying him or reaching out to his loved ones. At dawn, a group of fishermen stumbled upon Kenny's lifeless figure, sprawled along the Conasauga River in Murray County. Horrified by the grim discovery, they swiftly alerted emergency services through a distressing 911 call. Responding officers arrived at the scene to find the lifeless body of a young man in his 20s, devoid of any identification, a stark testament to a brutal act of murder. The precision of the shots, fired from a small-caliber firearm, pointed to a deliberate and calculated crime. Law enforcement canvassed the area, interrogating fishermen and witnesses, but the scant clues hindered their pursuit. The victim's identity remained unknown, shrouding the investigation in an unsettling veil of mystery. Meanwhile, Kenny's absence through the night prompted escalating worry among his family. When news of an unidentified murder victim discovered by the river reached Kenny's family, dread instantly seized his grandmother and mother. Fearing the worst, they promptly alerted authorities about Kenny's inexplicable disappearance. Detectives arrived and presented Kenny's family with a photo of the victim, prompting immediate recognition through his distinct clothing, unmistakable shoulder tattoos, and familiar glasses that all pointed to an inescapable truth. Their beloved Kenny had departed this world. Investigators turned their focus towards Kenny's closest confidants, seeking insights into his final moments. As they delved into his inner circle, revelations emerged from friends and family, painting a vivid picture of Kenny's last night alive. All signs pointed to his rendezvous with his ex-girlfriend Nadia, a pivotal moment preceding his demise. The authorities swiftly tracked down Nadia and brought her in for interrogation. Her narrative unraveled, initially depicting a scenario where Kenny stormed out of her car during a dispute, claiming she dropped him at a friend's house. However, surveillance footage from the gas station contradicted her account, revealing a composed interaction between Nadia and Kenny, departing together peacefully, debunking her version of events. As Nadia's credibility crumbled under the weight of contradicting evidence, a crucial breakthrough emerged when an unexpected call came in from a local attorney representing a relative of Justin Hooker. The attorney disclosed details about the sale of a small-caliber firearm to Justin, dated just before Kenny's tragic murder. Initially evasive, Justin attempted to conceal any link to Kenny or the handgun purchase. However, confronted with the irrefutable evidence, he could no longer deny his involvement in the harrowing events. Justin Hooker and Nadia Swartz faced immediate arrest following the investigation's developments. Nadia's defense rested on the assertion that Kenny's demise occurred in self-defense, citing an alleged attack from Kenny that Justin intervened to protect her from. However, the meticulous scrutiny by investigators yielded no substantiation for this narrative. There was no supporting evidence of Kenny perpetrating the abuse Nadia claimed. After months of deflecting accountability, Justin and Nadia eventually opted for plea deals. In March of 2021, nearly a year post the tragic loss of Kenny, Justin Hooker and Nadia Swartz entered guilty pleas, acknowledging their responsibility in the meticulously planned murder. Their sentencing weighed heavily, each condemned to life behind bars, with the faint prospect of parole after 30 years. They both remained devoid of any remorse for their pivotal roles in Kenny's untimely demise. Recordings from their jailhouse calls revealed a chilling lack of contrition, with the pair sharing laughter about their dire circumstances and even entertaining thoughts of marriage if they were ever released from prison. Unfortunately for Kenny, the one person he believed truly understood him in every way turned out to be the very person who manipulated, used, and led him to his tragic end. It's sad and heartbreaking how this story ends. Our deepest sympathies go out to the life that was lost and the grieving loved ones he left behind. If you found this video compelling, leave a like and your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos. Thank you for watching.